You are listening to C.E.O. Conversations, a podcast about anything and everything that matters to KaiMages.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Herington, CEO for KaiMage, and we are joined today by Jill Bowman, KaiMage's National Treasurer, or SNV, and an initiate of the Zeta Beta chapter at the University of Arizona. Before becoming a member of the governing council, Jill served her chapter as GH, and upon graduation, traveled as a national leadership consultant for 2 years. Since then, Jill has a long record of volunteer interfraternal service. For 15 years, she has represented KaiMage as a release methodology specialist, or we call it RFM specialist for short, and as a National Panhellenic Conference area advisor for 5 years. She served KaiMage as a member of the National Recruitment team, a Firesides leader, a member of convention staff, and several extension presentation teams. Professionally, Jill is an independent healthcare consultant and serves as the aquatics director for Eastmore Swim and Tennis Club in Denver, Colorado, while simultaneously studying for a master's in public health with an emphasis on leadership and public health practice. Jill lives in Denver, Colorado with her Sigma Chi husband, Brent, and 2 children, daughter Bryn and son Drew. Woo! Well, Sister SNV, we are so honored to have you with us today. Thank you for dropping in.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, in an effort for our sisters and friends to get to know our governing council better, let's dive into some real questions that reveal more about the real Jill. So let's start with your KaiMage experience. Tell us, why on earth did you even join KaiMage in the first place?
So I went to the University of Arizona. Both my older siblings had gone there as well, and both of them were in Greek life. My brother was in a fraternity, and my sister was also a Zeta Beta. So she's much older than I am. But by the time I went through recruitment, the seniors all still knew my sister. So they really rolled out the red carpet. They welcomed me as one of their own. And so it was an easy choice to join Zeta Beta.
Well, we have your real biological sister to thank then for kind of leading the path to KaiMage. What would you say is your favorite KaiMage memory from your time at Zeta Beta?
So I have 2, but one involves initiation, so I'm not going to share that one. Second, though, involves my younger sister, who also went through recruitment when I was a senior, and I was GH of the chapter at the time. And in our chapter, the way that we did preference, I think they do it differently now, but at the time was the GH had a main role at the front of the room and stood up there with everyone surrounding us with candles and saying all these sentimental things. And then I had done a real good job of not making eye contact with my sister. And there was someone, I can't remember exactly what it was, but as I'm looking around the room, I made eye contact with her and I got real choked up. And for people who know me, I did not get real choked up. So we just had this super special connection at that moment. And then she ended up joining as well. So we were in the chapter together also. So we can thank my older sister for both of us being KaiMages.
The triple KaiMage threat there. Well, one of your fun facts is in relation to your name. So tell our podcasters what gives everyone a little chuckle about your maiden name.
So after graduating from Arizona, I traveled as a consultant, and I actually got engaged the first year that I traveled. And for those of you that know our SH Laura Miller, she's quite the jokester. And so she had come in for NRT training because she was the chair of the national recruitment team at the time. And she, oh, Jill, you got engaged. Tell me about your fiance, on and on. What's your married name going to be? I said, it's going to be Jill Bowman. She goes, what do you mean? You're going to keep your maiden name? I said, no, I'm engaged to someone who has the same last name, Bowman. And so she said, oh, then you're going to be Jill Bowman Bowman. And so that has stuck ever since 20 plus years later. So Jill Bowman Bowman, that's my name.
I am learning that just about everybody on the governing council has a nickname, and yours is Jill Bowman Bowman.
Yes, that's right.
Well, you have been involved in recruitment from the national level for several years. How have you seen recruitment change over the years, the process of it?
Well, so when I went through as a freshman, it was a whole lot of singing, dancing, skits, lots and lots of rounds of recruitment because there are so many sororities on campus there. And after getting involved with the NRT, with Panhellenic, things have really changed. This no frills recruitment has been pushed and implemented. So really reducing the singing and the door stacks out of a lot of places, completely eliminating skits, recruitment rounds being shorter, really placing the emphasis not on the decorations or the food and the drink, but on the person going through recruitment. So I think it's changed a lot at some places, and it's making baby steps at other places.
And do you think these are changes for the better?
I think on some of our campuses, yes, for sure. I think that they can use all the help that they can get. At other places, I think we are very strong with our song and dance routine. But in general, I think that if it gets more people to join, then it's the direction that we should probably be going in.
So we're all for meaningful conversation, but it doesn't really matter if you've got the dance skills.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think some people would be surprised to know that aside from financial smarts, our national treasurer has a degree in molecular and cellular biology, and you are working to get your master's degree in public health. I know that combination of yours has really served us well as we, like all businesses, continue to navigate through the ongoing pandemic. But how would you describe your first 2 years on the council at the board table?
Well, it definitely did not start the way that I expected because I joined the council right in the middle of the pandemic. We actually had just canceled being in person for convention and we were doing everything remotely. So I didn't get presented in front of a large audience. I was on a screen talking to other people on a screen. Is very strange introduction for sure. And then also we've conducted most of our business remotely, just like a lot of other businesses have done. We've had to really be innovative and switch gears. Not to mention, I came on at a time when the Abolish Greek Life movement was starting and really ramping up. So when I had first interviewed for the position, it didn't really turn out to be what I had expected, but thankfully I had so much national experience that I was able to kind of hit the ground running and make up for lost time with other areas of the headquarters, not experience, but
support.
Getting introduced to the different parts that I did not know about. And I was able to learn that way, but it's working with such amazing women. I meet with the CFO every week and she's amazing. And the other national officers bring lots of leadership experience and expertise. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses. So it's been great to be at the table together for sure.
Really great chemistry between all of you. And I think what you lost by not bonding in person, you kind of gained, unfortunately and fortunately, by bonding through some pretty big challenges like the pandemic and AGL, right?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, put on your S&B hat now that we're talking about it and tell us about the financial condition of the fraternity. How are we doing and what does the future hold for us?
Sure. So I would say the financial state of the fraternity is strong. But like with any business at this point in time, inflation is increasing, cost of living is increasing, people are demanding a higher wage. So that is also impacting our business. And unlike some of our other NPC friends, we do not charge dues for our alumni. So our main income does come from our collegiate members. So we don't want to pass that burden on to them and have them have to increase their financial obligation to the fraternity as well. So we are looking at other income streams, and we really do find value in alumni donating to the foundation to be able to then give back to fund our educational programs. So I think we're in a good place, but we're just going to have to really watch it just like every other organization, because if we're going to get the talent that we need for our headquarters staff, we have to pay them a fair wage. And so we just need to be smart about our finances while not burdening our members.
Well, as a headquarters staff member, I can't disagree with that. But we are so lucky and fortunate to have had such great savings by officers and governing council members that came before you. And it's really set a foundation for a rainy day like a pandemic. So grateful.
That is absolutely true. I mean, we are standing on the shoulders of the giants before us, and they had absolutely the financial smarts to make the right investments and put the money in the right places for the future. Absolutely.
Well, Jill, please tell us how on earth you are serving on the governing council and getting your master's degree at the same time. How do you manage your time?
So people talk about their plate is full when it comes to being super busy. So I use that analogy a lot, and different people have different size plates, right? Some people have a very large plate that they can fill. Other people have a small plate that they can fill. And at the time that I had been nominated for the governing council, I was coming off a very large volunteer obligation. So I knew that I was going to have some room on my plate to do something else. So it was either going to be go on to the governing council or find some other way to spend my time. So when this all worked out and I was able to join the council, that also met my need for my personal volunteer obligation. And then when it came to going back to school, my contracts had actually ended with some of the folks that I did consulting for, and I chose to not renew those contracts so that I could be a full-time student. So again, it's that balance of taking things off your plate, putting things on your plate. And I've always been good with time management. So if I don't think I can do something, I'm not afraid to say no. And I know that that's hard for some people. So that's just one of my strengths, is being able to prioritize my time and know when I have the opportunity to do something new and when I know that I can't.
Well, thank you for making shifts in order to take on this role. I know you to have a very big plate, so thank you. You also have a daughter, Bryn, and she'll be looking at colleges soon enough. So what advice do you have for her about campus life?
Yeah, she's actually already starting to look at colleges. I can't believe it. She's going to be off on her own before we know it. So my advice to her is basically get involved, try new things, look for new opportunities, make new friends, but stay safe. Because we know, being in this business, risk management is no joke. And on every campus, there's an opportunity to do risky things. So I just want her to make sure that she's going in with her eyes wide open, to have a good time, but to be safe, take care of herself, take care of her friends.
Yeah, look after her friends, never leave anybody alone.
Yes.
Well, you probably have your own fun fact about Jill, or a good story or a piece of advice you'd like to share with KaiMage Nation today. So tell us what that might be.
So I do have a story, and it involves you. So some people might know that NFL Hall of Famer Peyton Manning played for the Denver Broncos. Well, he chose to live here after he retired, and he has a set of boy-girl twins that play in the same age range group as my son in different recreational sports. So we've seen him at different events over the years. And I had walked into my son's basketball game a little bit late one day, and I came in the back door, so kind of away from everybody else because I didn't want to disrupt the game. And then a few seconds later, I look over, and Peyton Manning had walked in the same back door and sat right next to me. And knowing that he went to the University of Tennessee, I immediately whip out my phone and I text Leslie Herington, "Oh my gosh, you will not believe who's sitting next to me." And she's like, "Oh, tell him I said hello." And I'm like, "Okay." So I turn and I say, "Hey, I think we have a mutual friend." And he's like, "Who?" And so I start explaining, not thinking Leslie Herington was not Herington, unlike Jill Bowman when she was in college. And so he's like, okay. Like, she's a KaiMage, this, that, and the other. And so I'm texting Leslie. She says, "Ask him about Jeff," because he probably remembers Jeff. So I turned to him again, and I'm looking, the Herington's up on Facebook, showing a picture. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I know them. They're good Tennessee fans." So just a funny small world. Ironic that Peyton Manning, Leslie Herington, Jill Bowman, all having a little chat at
if I'm not 6 degrees from Peyton Manning, I'm at least like 9, 10, or 11 or something. It was close. He finally got it.
Hey, he recognized the face. And then later, his son and my son were on the same baseball team. And one of the first things I said is, "Hey, remember you sat next to me at that basketball game?" And he said, "Oh yeah, the Tennessee fans." So he did remember that part of the conversation. So
yeah, you remember them wearing orange in the stadium. That was us.
Right.
Well, that is a pretty cool thing to know Peyton Manning that closely. That is a celeb sighting for sure. And Jill Bowman, I sure have loved sharing time with you today and hearing your KaiMage story. Thank you for this glimpse into the SMV.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening today, and stay tuned for more KaiO conversations coming your way. Also, if you have any podcast ideas or notable guests that you'd like to hear from in our next broadcast, let us know. All you have to do is email us at KaiMage@KaiMage.com. And as always, keep an eye on KaiMage's social media channels so you can be sure to join us next time. Thank you.